Alright, you guys, welcome back to another video. And today I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about Squadron 42 because this has been kind of a touchy subject lately. A lot of people, well, not really lately, kind of ever since CIG kind of re-established some things, players have been kind of sore about it. Now, I know a lot of people come from the perspective that, you know, they didn't really sign up for Squadron 42. They are only interested in the persistent universe. And I kind of want to talk about that a little bit in today's video, because I feel like, you know, the community is for this this gameplay universe. In my opinion, I think Star Citizen's gameplay universe is particularly interesting. I don't really see Star Citizen as just a sandbox game. I see Star Citizen as a game that is in the Star Citizen universe, if that makes any sense. You know, like how you have a Sonic game and there are many games in the Sonic universe. I see the persistent universe as a game within the Star Citizen universe. So to me, Squadron 42 builds upon that. So a lot of people see Squadron 42 as kind of this anchor that's keeping the persistent universe back in its development. But I think it's important to talk about because, in my opinion, CIG needs to deliver a product. Okay, the persistent universe is realistically going to take a very long time to deliver, and you don't want to be in a situation where the studio is perpetually developing something and not putting out anything. Because once you put out a product within this, you know, this universe, you establish an understanding, a story, and an identity for the game and this universe. If CIG is able to put out Squadron 42, it will introduce this universe to players. Again, right now I see a lot of people look at Star Citizen as just this sandbox that, you know, it has a little bit of story, it has ship lore, it has different things, but they're not really, you know, enveloped with a lot of story and a lot of backstory and a lot of lore. It is something that you kind of have to go out and seek for yourself. I know a great content creator, Astropub, makes a lot of great lore and content. I will leave his videos, his channel linked below. He makes really good content about the game if you want to learn about lore. Board Gamer as well, he does lore videos now too that I feel like are pretty good. So, you know, I'll let you guys check those out. But really, releasing Squadron 42 is going to put the player in this universe from a more personal level, so they can understand this universe, so they can develop that bond and connection with this universe. And again, that's why I feel like a lot of people compare Star Citizen to other games, is because they don't really understand the story as much. They're not as connected to the story, so they kind of think that it's just a tech demo, it's just a sandbox, the story is not fleshed out. So you have to make the story of the game, you have to flesh that out, and you have to put that product out there so it can be kind of stuck in the greater gaming consciousness. It's like when you think of Star Citizen, oh, Squadron 42, it's space combat in space, it's a story. Like when you think about Mass Effect, you think about the story, you don't see it as a generic space game. It's Mass Effect, and there are elements to Mass Effect that make it unique, that make it not a generic, you know, space sci-fi story. And you develop that connection and that bond with that story. That's going to be important for other games in the series. And so Squadron 42 coming out and being good and having a story, it will connect people, it will ground people to the persistent universe. So new people coming in, or old people, will want to play Star Citizen because it's Star Citizen, not because of the tech, not because of, the seamless space to ground planet, but because it is a Star Citizen game and they like this universe, they like this story, and they want to be in this story. It's just like Star Wars. People who like Star Wars, they want to be in that story because it's Star Wars, not just because it's lightsabers in space. They want to be a part of the Star Wars story. So releasing a game, releasing the story, the first person version, is going to bring a lot of legitimacy to the persistent universe. And this is important, this is key, because again, like I said, I believe the persistent universe is going to be in development for a long time. And that's a good thing, because we want the persistent universe to have all of the features. We don't want CIG to skimp on them. So it is an aspect where CIG can make things in isolation and kind of set things up for the persistent universe. And we've seen a little bit about that at CitizenCon last year, where we got new player traversal, player mantle, player on the ladders, new jumping mechanics, EVA tier 1 or tier 2, where you can push pull. So there are a lot of things that come into play. We saw the new FPS scanning. That's going to be a big change to the game in the persistent universe. So those things are important to build and develop in the first person version of the game. And this sentiment that a lot of people aren't excited for it, I kind of want to instill that it is important, it is a good thing. When CIG first announced Star Citizen, Squadron 42 went hand in hand with it. It was meant to be a single game where Squadron 42 is essentially like the tutorial you went through, and then you went out into the open world and explored more. I would say kind of like what Starfield is, where you have a story and then you have an open world. But the only difference is Star Citizen was always meant to be multiplayer. So you have this game that essentially became two games, because both games became very big in their own right. The persistent universe kind of continued growing in scope, and so did Squadron 42. So it made sense to split both games up into a different experience. And I think that's a positive thing, because one game can add to another, where Squadron 42 adds in that story, that single player experience. If you don't want to deal with other players, you can play Squadron 42, but you could still be in the Star Citizen universe. Again, there are a lot of players who enjoy Star Citizen, but they maybe don't want to play with other people. They want to kind of do their own thing, and Squadron 42 will be a good way to do that, a good place to do that. And of course, it's going to have AI. We know how CIG does with AI. I hope the AI in Squadron 42 is going to be good, but realistically, it's not going to be as difficult as fighting another player. The AI are, they're doable, and CIG has already said that there will be difficulty levels. So you could probably put Squadron 42 on easy, mow down the NPCs, and just enjoy the game. And so I personally am looking forward to Squadron 42. I think it'll be an incredibly fun game. I mean, you have Gary Oldman and Mark Hamill. Who doesn't want to be Mark Hamill's wingman? I mean, come on. So there's a lot of good actors. I feel like it'll be a very interesting story. I'm excited for Squadron 42. And I think even if you signed up to play Star Citizen, the persistent universe, you should still check out Squadron 42. I mean, it's a game that's been in development for a long time. It has a lot of A-list actors. uh it is set in the same universe as Star Citizen as a fully released game. That should be exciting to everybody in the Star Citizen community. Hey, we're getting a fully released game that we can just hop in and enjoy and play and not have to worry about bugs or knock on wood, it might still definitely have bugs. But it would be a more smooth experience, not changing with different patches and stuff like that. It will be a fully finished game, and you'll be able to fly in your Gladius and use your Archlight pistol and wear different armor sets and be a character in this universe, because I believe CIG did a good job building this universe. It is an interesting story. The Vandal is an interesting enemy. The UEE is an interesting protagonist, anti-hero. There are some people who don't like the UEE who think the UEE is just another one of the bad guys. So I think it is a very interesting prospect. Now, another thing that is very interesting about Squadron 42 that a lot of people are talking about is that Squadron 42 has been removed from the store, and it's, at the time of recording this video, it's still not in the store. And we got a lot of updates about CitizenCon. Updates that are potentially controversial. I don't know what a lot of people think on the topic, but a lot of people are speculating that there will be an announcement about Squadron 42 at this CitizenCon, because this CitizenCon, the prices for the tickets are $200, and it is going for 2 days. You'll be able to buy tickets June 29th if you're concierge, I believe, and June 30th for everyone. Now, this is an interesting decision, interesting move. I was definitely not expecting it. But a lot of people are saying that it might be because CIG plans to announce a release date for Squadron 2, that it may be a situation where we get updates on the persistent universe on day 1, and then they give us an update on Squadron 42 and announce a release date on day 2. Again, I don't know, this is all just speculation, things I've been hearing, Reddit, Spectrum. There's been a lot of talk about it, so I think it's very interesting. Again, tinfoil hat on. We can theorize any number of things. I think it's exciting if they decide to announce a release date, end of next year or something like that. That'd be huge. That'd be great. I'd be over the moon, because it means that they can focus on the persistent universe. It will mean that we have a fully released game out. It will mean that it will set precedents for the universe, where the in-game universe, where players, where people who aren't in the Star Citizen community kind of get accustomed to the lore, the story of the game. It sets the stage for the persistent universe. It will obviously help CIG get more money to build out the persistent universe, and it will help them be able to take those resources off of working on Squadron 42 and put them back on the persistent universe. Again, I don't want both games to be perpetually in development forever. I want them to finish Squadron 42, get it out the door, and get those people working on the persistent universe again. I don't mind having 2-3 years of a little bit less content so they can finish that game, because then when they're done with that game and they come back on the persistent universe, you're gonna have way more people. You're gonna have way more people working on the persistent universe, and you can get a lot more content. And on top of that, you have to keep in mind too, a lot of the tools that they need to work on the persistent universe will come from and be built in Squadron 42. So they'll literally just port that stuff over to the persistent universe, and a lot of the tools are already built. The planet tech, the last big hurdle is silver meshing. So once they get that done, once they get they'll just be able to crank out star systems and ships. And that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to Squadron 42 being out and being playable and people trying it and enjoying it, and CIG, having the ability to make a ton more content for the persistent universe. So ultimately, in my opinion, Squadron 42 existing at all is a good thing, and Squadron 42 and CIG focusing on Squadron 42 and trying to release it faster is a good thing. Again, I still want them to kind of take their time with it, make sure it's good, make sure people like it, and it builds credibility to the persistent universe and sets the standard for what the studio can deliver. I mean, again, with other game studios, you could see what they made in the past and say, yeah, I'm expecting this to be a good game. If CIG deliver a good game, then people look at the persistent universe and go, hey, this studio is capable of this. Star Citizen, the persistent universe, should be a fun time. It should be a good game. I want to check it out. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Did you just get Star Citizen to play the persistent universe? Are you excited about Squadron 42? Do you think Squadron 42 is going to be a great game? Do you want to be Mark Hamill's wingman? Yeah, let me know in the comments down below. You guys have been knocking it out of the park lately. The channel has been growing so much, so fast. I can't believe how much support you guys have been giving me lately. I can't thank you guys enough for showing all the support. I see you guys in the comments, the same people, you guys are rock stars, honestly. You are. I enjoy this game. I enjoy the community. I enjoy talking with you guys, making these videos, and you guys are making my dream of making Star Citizen content. I don't want to be cheesy or corny or anything like that, but you're making that a reality, and I thank you a lot for it. So yeah, that's gonna be it for me here today, you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me. Like I always say in these videos, like the video if you like it, subscribe if you want to see more, and I will see you guys in the next one. Salut.